Good morning, my fellow Americans. I would like to wish you a very, very, very happy U.S. Forced Taxation Day. The day that we celebrate here in America, the land of the free and the home of the brave, the fact that our civil magistrates are liable to lock us up and put us in a cage if we don't pay them what they demand of us. And if we don't pay it in a timely fashion, they'll also penalize us, of course, to incentivize our loyalty to them. Now, my invitation still stands to anyone who would like to do an informal or formal debate on the issue of forced taxation from a biblical perspective. I'd love to have that debate on Lancaster Patriot Podcast or a Future of Christendom's platform, wherein we can debate the issue of forced taxation. As I've said many times, voluntary taxation, a voluntary tithe, is not wrong. God does require us to pay taxes or tithes to whom they are due, but whenever you see a forced taxation or a penalty to the righteous, in Scripture, it's never spoken of in a positive way. It's either prophetic warning of what will happen, as Samuel warned the people, that if you ask for a king and get a king, he's going to take from you. There's going to be forced taxation, if you will. And Samuel's emphatic that he never took anything from anyone's hand. Or we may see Amos, for example, Amos chapter 5, where the prophet denounces the magistrates for their forced taxation. And Amos says this: "Therefore, because you trample on the poor and exact taxes of grain from him, you have built houses of hewn stone, but you shall not dwell in them. You have planted pleasant vineyards, but you shall not drink their wine." An apt description of the civil magistrates in our day who force the people to pay them their salary and then often live luxurious lives, often collect a pension that is funded via forced taxation. So again, that invitation is open, and I felt like today, being U.S. Forced Taxation Day, a good time to reissue it to anyone who would like to debate from the biblical perspective that forced taxation is righteous, that it is just to punish someone who has not paid the amount of tax money that the magistrate demands. Again, we're not talking about restitution here. Restitution is when someone is wronged by another, and that case is brought before a magistrate, and you are making restitution is when you're required to make payment to make something right. You've wronged someone, you're going to make it right. Taxation is in a different category, and I contend in the Bible the issue of a penalty for someone who has not paid their tax is not justified. Now, also, I just want to mention very briefly on this U.S. Forced Taxation Day, I hope you're celebrating, I hope you're spending time with your friends and family, enjoying this day and everything it means and all the wonderful, wonderful benefits that we experience because we're penalized and our money's taken from us. So, slow down, enjoy this time with your family. Let me know your traditions, your family traditions on this national holiday. Put them in the comments. What do you do to celebrate U.S. Forced Taxation Day? I'm sure you have a lot of great traditions that you do to celebrate and honor this day. And so one thing I would like to potentially add to your celebration, especially, this is really for those out there who really are supportive of the tariffs, I would like to suggest another practice for your U.S. Forced Taxation Day. Since you are arguing in favor of tariffs, which, by the way, tariffs are a penalty enacted by your own civil magistrate against you for taking dominion and buying products from other places. So that's a penalty, just like the income tax is a penalty on being prosperous, on taking dominion. The tariff is a penalty against you by your own magistrate for buying products from said country. Now, I understand what the argument you make that, well, we need to do this because if it's more expensive or if we are penalized for buying products from overseas or from certain nations, then that will either A, encourage the production of those products here in America, or B, encourage that nation to stop penalizing their people for buying our products. So I understand what the intention behind it is, but I would like to encourage you, tariff supporter, my fellow American, on this national holiday, U.S. Forced Taxation Day, that you should really put your money where your mouth is. And if you're really all about tariffs, here's what I recommend you do. You could do this. This could be sort of like a family event. It could be a family tradition where you go through your house, and it would really help if you kept diligent records throughout the year of wherever you bought all your stuff from, because if you don't do this, if you're not diligent in keeping track of where every single one of your products came from, we're going to have to pay the government to do that. And you that want the tariffs, understand that if you guys aren't going to keep track of every single purchase you've made and every single component in that purchase, where it came from, maybe you bought a TV this year, maybe you bought a vehicle, maybe you bought a bicycle, you should be diligent to look at every single component of that product and see if any of those components came from overseas. Because if you don't do that, now we have to pay tax agents or trade agents. We have to pay our government now, and if we don't pay them enough, they might punish us, as we were reminded of on this wonderful holiday. So we're going to have to fund all these agents to keep track of all our purchases. So I would encourage you, since you are supporting and encouraging the tariffs, to do that yourself, to voluntarily keep track of every single purchase you made. And I would encourage you now on this day to look back over the past year, the past tax season, and penalize yourself. Penalize yourself so that we don't have to pay the government to do this. Penalize yourself for every purchase, every component, every product that came from overseas. Put a hefty amount on that to really prevent, because really the goal of tariffs is to encourage you to not buy from overseas. So I would like you to impose a serious penalty on yourself for buying these products from overseas, because you really want to teach yourself to not buy products from overseas. You want to buy them from here in America. So put a big penalty on that. Go through your whole house. You could start from the basement up to the attic. You could really make it a big event, and there could be food, and you could invite your neighbors over. They could help you. And then you could go over to your neighbor's house, and you could go through all their purchases the past year, and maybe even from the past decade. Like, look and see, you know what? Oh, I bought this TV 5 years ago, but a lot of these components came from Asia, and I was never penalized for it. And the goal here ultimately is to encourage U.S. production. So I'm going to penalize myself to really make sure that I'll never do this again. Next time you go buy a TV, if you penalize yourself $300, I suggest $300 for every component you've purchased. Penalize yourself that $300. Send that money in. Send that extra money in to the U.S. government today on tax day. In addition to the money they're demanding from you from your income, send in this additional penalty that you've imposed upon yourself as a good American for that TV you bought from Asia, because you don't want to do that again. And if you don't impose this penalty, and if you're honest with yourself, I think you will really have to admit that if you don't impose the penalty on yourself, you're likely to buy another TV from Asia maybe in 5 years from now, or another product. So be a good American, be a good tariff supporter, penalize yourself for every product you've purchased overseas, and send that money into the government. And that'll achieve two things. One, it'll really prevent you from buying from overseas again, because look, if I buy this product, maybe it's 50% cheaper and I can serve my family, but I know I'm going to penalize myself on the next national holiday of U.S. Forced Taxation Day. So I'm going to go buy a product that's 2 times the price here in America, because I want to support America. And don't stop with yourself. Like I said, go to your neighbor's house, encourage them to penalize themselves, because if we can band together as Americans, and if we can challenge one another to pay all these tariffs, then you know what? We don't need to fund the government to track and punish us if we don't pay our tariffs. Now, for those of you out there like me who are not tariff supporters, hey, I don't blame you one bit. If you can get around, I should say, if you can get around being penalized and punished by your own magistrates for buying products to serve your family or serve your neighbor, by all means. But this is really for my fellow Americans who are the tariff supporters. This could be a great act of solidarity among you and all the other tariff supporters. In a way, you can show the rest of us, hey, you really mean this. You really believe that we should be penalized for buying products by our own government. Our own government should penalize us. You believe that so much that you're willing to set the example, and you're willing to penalize yourself, voluntarily, and send that money into the government in order to help them, keep track of us more. Give this money to the government, right? That's the tariff money's going to the government. And today's a great day to give them more money so that they have more resource, because to be honest, the resources are running a little thin. It's a little hard for them to keep track of all the income taxes. So since you support the tariffs and the government getting more money from American citizens, send in the extra money today before it's too late. to really give them a boost so they can collect all this income tax from the rest of, from all Americans. And then that'll fund their efforts to collect more taxes and more tariff money. So anyway, that's my encouragement to you on this U.S. Forced Taxation Day. I hope you're enjoying this day. And if you're a tariff supporter, hey, don't wait, right? Don't wait for, I don't know how long these things rolled out by Trump, how long they'll take and all these different things. And maybe there's some country, maybe the tariffs aren't high enough. I encourage you to pay more. I mean, if you think this is really important, penalize yourself. Take whatever tariff penalty the civil magistrate is trying to collect from you and just double it, because that's only going to make America greater twice as fast, right? Because it's going to be even more likely for you to buy products from America. I mean, with the tariff money, the government's not telling you can't buy overseas. Maybe that's the next step. Maybe the government should just flat out say, if you buy any product from X nation, we will punish you. You are now committing a crime. If you're a tariff guy, maybe that's the answer. But for right now, 2025, U.S. Forced Taxation Day, enjoy this day, enjoy the penalties you're paying, and get out there and penalize yourself some more. Because if you're not doing that, I really don't think you're embracing the spirit of U.S. Forced Taxation Day. So enjoy the day, make it one that counts, get some pictures, share with me your family traditions on U.S. Forced Taxation Day, and I look forward to hearing those. So enjoy the rest of your day.